Why is self-love important? It almost seems like a really silly question, right? It just sounds like something we should know, or that just is a natural law, or that just makes sense, right? Self-love is important, but do we really know why? Do we really understand why it's so important to love the self? If that is something that you're kind of like, thinking about or interested in, I'm gonna kind of break down a few of the concepts, or just explore this whole concept of what self-love is and how it impacts us on a daily basis, because it does impact us, ladies. It is actually the root, and this is really essentially why it's important. It's the root in which we experience our life. Let's backtrack a little. Our world, the 3D world around you, your experiences, all of that is an external projection from an internal state. So anything involving the self, that is always going to be the root of everything, because that is which everything stems from you, from yourself. So if everything we see around us is a projection of an internal state, then having love for the self, which is the internal state, then what you experience outside externally would be love, or would be through the eyes or the senses, right? The 5 senses, you would experience love. So the things that you hear, this love creates almost like a screen or a veil in which you experience the outside world through your 5 senses. So your ears, what you hear, you would hear through the veil of love. So even if you were hearing somebody say something that was awful or that you didn't enjoy, it would actually go through those veils of love, and you would hear it in a loving way. And the same is for all the senses, for the things that we see. Say that you see something that's just awful. It's still awful, but how you're interpreting it as your being, as your person, is through the eyes, the veil of someone rooted in love. 2 people can see the exact same situation happen, and depending on their inner state of self will depend on how they view or interpret the situation. It literally is going to be the filter in which they take in information from the outside world. So when you are rooted in love for the self, that is your inner state, and it does change from moment to moment. So it's not like, oh, every second of every day I'm just la 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 in love. I'm talking about just you're rooted there, like plant into the ground, like you're rooted in the soil, and the weather will change, right? If your plant needs water or whatever, like it'll shrivel and it will change according to if it was a really hot day, but its roots are still rooted in soil. So when you are rooted in love for the self, you will then interpret your outside world through the veil of love. And that's really important, because how you interpret your life, it's all connected. And I try to find the best way to explain these really evolved concepts into human form, because we're so limited by this flesh and all this. We're taking something so much bigger and larger than ourselves, and I'm trying to compact it through my mouth, through my body, through vibration, through words. So just bear with me. Take with what resonates, what lands, leave the rest. No big deal. But how you feel about yourself is how you're going to interpret the world around you. It's just how universal law, it's how it is. Now, the other form is, or the other reason that self-love is so important is it's who you are. Literally, you're made of love. You are. We come from love. We are made of love. That is the source in which we come from. So this whole thing is just a big illusion, albeit a very, very, very convincing one, right? It looks real, but that's the whole plan. The whole idea is for it to look real so that we can actively participate and learn and grow. And if you guys haven't caught my video on spiritual evolution, and if you are awake, do check it out here. Super fun and informative, and it just explains, kind of what we're doing here. Anyway, so you are love. So almost in a way, you can't not be something that you are. So you can have experiences of feeling like you're not love, but it doesn't change who you are because you can't. It's from which you were created. So it's not changing into not love. You are love. And we can have, because we're so powerful, we can have experiences of feeling unloved. And we can do that our entire lifetime. You can come here for this lifetime and literally can just feel that you're unworthy and unloved the entire lifetime until you leave your body and go on to the next place. You can feel unlovable and unworthy, but it doesn't change the fact that you are loved. You just are so amazing, so freaking powerful that you were able to almost trick yourself into believing that you're not lovable. It's a mind fuck, you guys. It's totally trippy if you really sit with these ideas. So you can't get away from love. You just can't. And if you have any sort of self-love practice, I do have a guide for you guys, so I will link it in below, totally free, to start your self-love journey. If you have nowhere to begin, or if you just want some new ideas, you can get that free below. And what happens when you start to remember that you are love or lovable, what it feels like is like a homecoming, like a remembering, like, oh, I've been here before. I know what this feels like. Essentially because you do. It's what you're made out of. So it's very comforting, very safe, almost like a loving parent or a pet, or that kind of like, or just when you get home after a trip or something, like, I'm home. This is where I belong. This is where I live. This is my comfortable, safe space. That's essentially what it starts to feel like when you start coming back into what you're made out of, which is love. Remember those roots into the soil of love? So even if you're this plant and things are happening, like, you can't change that you are made from love. So you'll remember, you'll start to feel like, oh, this makes sense. And it feels so good. There's literally nothing better. There just isn't. We can have all this kind of fun and experience, but there is nothing on the planet that rivals being in touch with love and love for yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. That's essentially what you've been searching for your entire life. You've been looking for love in partners, in jobs, in people, in places, and experiences. You have been looking subconsciously, probably, for love, to be loved, to feel love. That's always what we're looking for, is love. We're looking for it because we forgot that it's right here, that it's literally within us, it literally is us. But we're so freaking amazing that we've been able to trick ourselves that it's not, right? We think that it's outside of us. We are longing for that love, and so we go looking for it in other places, people, and things. But the whole time, it doesn't go anywhere. It's right here. And so that's that remembrance. You're coming home to, like, oh shit, I thought it was in this guy or this girl or this job or this car or this pile of money, right? We're looking for it. When you realize that those are all fun tools to play with while we're here in this 3D world, but the love that you are looking for never, ever, 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 ever existed outside of you. Always an inside game. And something really special happens. So not only do you have this like remembrance of coming home, it feels fucking amazing. Amazing! You guys, you have to try it. Even if just like a glimpse of feeling good about yourself, it's like a high you have never known. It's incredible. And what happens, if you know anything about frequency and the law of attraction and manifestation, you attract what you are. Not what you want, but what you are. So, if you are rooted in love, love for the self, not only do you experience the world around you through the veil of love, but what do you think you attract? You attract situations, people, experiences that you love and that love you, because it's a mirror. So, not only does it feel amazing, your life gets better because you see things differently. Same situations, but you see them differently. You see them through the eyes of love. So you're feeling good, vibrating good, seeing life through the veil of love, and then attracting, communicating to the universe, this is who I be, this is who I am, and you're attracting experiences, people, places, and things more for you to love because you're already in love. So there's just no other way to be. And you'll remember all this when you pass. But the idea is to awaken while you're alive, not have to leave your body to awaken spiritually to these principles, to these laws. And all of this that I'm saying, it's relatively simple. It's complex, but still simple. And the idea really, you do not have to die to remember these things. We're here to remember while we're still in body so that we can have the most expansive experience. That's the idea. And the answer, if you're really looking to elevate your spiritual development, self-love is the place to start. That will catapult you faster and farther than any of the other spiritual tools or practices. Loving yourself, if you're wanting to like 10x your growth, that is where you begin. And I'm trying to think of like the cons of it to tell you like what would be the reason why you wouldn't want, something to watch out for. The only thing I can think of is it's hard, especially if you are practiced in hating yourself. I have a fantastic video, you guys, on the self-hate program that we've all got running, so check that out if that is something that you struggle with. But if you've got this self-hate program running, it's gonna be quite difficult to just switch on to this self-love program. But that's all it is a program. And you're a body computer, and you can take one program out and install another one. And we do that really, really beautifully with hypnosis. And you can catch more information at my website to look into that. But it's a program that you've got running. So if you're really heavy into the self-hate program, it is gonna be challenging to get on the self-love program. But otherwise, it's all beneficial. It's all beneficial. Other than it being a bit challenging, there is nothing that I personally can think of why you wouldn't want to do this. Why wouldn't you want to feel the best you've ever felt? Why would you not want to attract situations and experiences and people that you love? More opportunities that you love? Go to more places that you love? I mean, can you think of a reason? And why would you not want to experience your life through the eyes of love? Shitty stuff happens. It does. And great things happen. But how you choose to see your life and not react but respond has everything to do with the life that you create. So if you're seeing life and people through the eyes of love, that means you're gonna feel understanding, compassion, grace, honor, respect. Those are all ideas rooted in love. You're gonna see people in that way. You're gonna see experiences that way, and you're gonna respond to your life very different than if you were seeing things through a different set of lenses. So in case you were wondering why this self-love movement is like so freaking important, that's all I got, folks. That's really, it just is. And it makes total sense that we do this and that we do it now, that we don't have to leave the body to remember that we're made of love, because your life can get better. That's what happens when you start to love yourself. I dropped one of my stones. That's what happens when you begin to love yourself. Everything gets better because it's just you reflecting back to you through the 3D world. That is it, my friends. Amity Rose. Get all the details at the websites. If you're looking to become a client or book a session, you can find all the info there. I love you.